Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike at Filmboy24, and today, we're getting kooky with Kodachrome. That's right, today is all about this lovely film stock that used to be. It's also about Kodachrome K40. If you haven't seen it, you need to check out this video right up here where we discovered Kodachrome K40. And you'll understand exactly what that means. This is my Chinon 132p XL, or existing light camera, that doesn't really work all that well. You see, the meter is messed up in it, and it overexposes film. Well, that worked to my advantage. Because every time you shoot old Kodachrome, what do you got to do? You got to overexpose it by quite a bit. This camera does all the dirty work for me. So I decided what I would do instead of, getting rid of this old Kodachrome, because if you know me or watch any of my videos, you know I'm not a big fan of Kodachrome anymore. Used to be. It was beautiful. But I'm not Adrian Cousins, so I don't process it in color. And if you're not Adrian Cousins, then you have to process this film in black and white chemistry. And to go a step beyond that, I process it as a black and white negative, not even reversal. So I really have to overexpose it. What I did for this particular funisode is I have a lot of Kodachrome, a lot of cartridges, I should say, that I got in cameras or in lots of things, kind of like my found film episodes, but they're not fully exposed. So it won't read exposed on the exposed side of the film here. So what I do with those is I just throw them in Kodachrome K40 and I just run around and finish the roll. Or at least finish what I thought was the roll. Sometimes it's not exposed at all, any of the cartridge, and sometimes I get a foot out of the film. So it was already previously exposed by 49 feet or so. This particular show, not a round show, but it's a fun show. What I'm going to do is show you what I did with this roll of Kodachrome, which was one of those examples of thought to be partially exposed, but what I found out was it wasn't exposed at all. So I got all 50 feet of this. I threw it in Kodachrome K40. I took it out back into the backyard with my wife and my two girls and just had fun with it because I wanted to see what this Kodachrome would do for me. Now, I always write, I put labels all over them to kind of tell you where it got them. And this particular roll that I shot, I purchased with something. I don't know if I just bought the film or it was in a camera, but according to my handwriting, it was back in March of 2019. So I've had this sitting around for over 2.5 years. It was boxed. It was in a box, an open box, and the box showed an expiration of April of 1980. So that means that this film was probably manufactured in 1978. So let's see what we get out of it. I found the edge code. It was a triangle, which means, according to Kodak's own website, this film was manufactured in 1978, this particular roll. So I put it in here, and the older you get with this Kodachrome, the more light you need and the more just luck that you need for it to come out and to get an image. So let's see what I got with this really old roll of Kodachrome processed as a black and white negative in the backyard. Take a peek. not too shabby. And what I forgot to mention was, the first about quarter of this roll was my wife and Koda-Cam 40 at Cracker Creek. I took my Krasnogorsk 3 there, I don't know, a month or two ago. And I don't know if you watched the footage, there was a couple of shots, or a shot, of her holding Koda-Cam 40. Well, she clicked off, I don't know, 10, 15 feet of film, and that's what you saw at the beginning with the turtle and whatnot. And the rest was our backyard. So not really too bad for film that was manufactured in 1978 that was never really meant to be processed as a black and white film. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. I mean, not too shabby. What I did here, this roll was presumably partially exposed. This is the other end of the spectrum of what I was talking about here. This is also a Kodachrome K40. They have the exact same label. I assumed this one wasn't in a box, and I had gotten this one in December of 2019, so almost 2 years ago. Partially exposed. In other words, it didn't read exposed here. So I put it in Koda-Cam 40, and I started filming, and it basically just ended. So there was already footage on it. So that's the reason I didn't use this as a found film. Now I'm going to show you what's on this film. It's the typical sort of found film. If you don't really want to watch it and you're not interested, it didn't come out very good. The film is very scratched up. It's very marked up. It's you'll see if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, fast forward through it. Here is the, and by the way, I didn't find an edge code on this, so I'm going to only assume that it's probably in the same ballpark as that, late 70s, maybe early 80s. You decide. Here's the results of this, what we'll call found film now. You see what I mean? It's nothing like this. I have discovered that when you shoot old Kodachrome, as opposed to just processing old Kodachrome that was shot as intended many, many years ago, your results for what you shoot in the modern day typically come out much better than the results you get from the old school filming that was never processed. And that's understandable because film is meant to be processed pretty much immediately after it's been shot. It doesn't store well once it's been exposed. That's why we got what we got out of that. You could kind of make out what it was. That was just a little bit of fun that I had with Kodachrome K40 Film. Sure wish they made it still. What a process to get it developed, though. I developed that in HC110B. I did both rolls together. I did them for 4 minutes at about 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's what I got. So I'm pretty impressed with it. If you enjoy videos like this, do me a huge favor, please. Tap the like button for me. How about do me a solid? Right here, you see this? Right there. See that picture? Do what it asks you to do. Please subscribe. Okay, I'm done begging. These are very time-consuming videos. They take a long time to make. They're not free for me. They are free for you. I know there's an ad or two. I gotta buy a roll of film once a month. And until the very next time that we get kooky with Kodachrome or some other goofy film-related subject, you know what it is. Whew, that hurt. I'll see all of you on the very next go-around.